Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, Attack and Defend, Search and Destroy, VIP, Payload, and everything else in between. These are all objective-based game modes you would find in those classic shooter games, which, of course, have predictably found their way into Airsoft. The question is, do objective-based game modes belong in Airsoft? Do they make Airsoft better? I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm a bit torn on this one, and I'm really curious to know what you guys think about all of this yourselves. First off, at my home field, and for the longest time I can remember, it has only really been doing Attack and Defend and King of the Hill when it comes to objective-based game modes. Otherwise, it's just Team Deathmatch, which is actually the least played of the three that we do. There are definitely more extravagant or creative game modes that exist, such as a multi-staged Attack and Defend, similar to that rush mode you would find in Battlefield, if you're familiar. Now, the reason I'm torn about game modes is because I personally feel like complicated game modes are just too much for the average Airsofter. I think we can all agree that wherever you play, even after 10 long minutes of the ref explaining some complicated game mode pre-game, half of the players out there just seem to be lost, or flat out just pretending it's team deathmatch out there and only playing to get kills. That being said, game modes can provide a refreshing experience. It's something different and might even provide some unique content for someone like me to use. It's just, I get this vibe that the memories most Airsofters take home with them are the kills. Sure, it might have to do with some sort of last stand trench defense against an enemy team with respawns, but I still feel like it's difficult to have a bad time if you're racking up those kills. I think field layout is also a big factor here, so I can't just flat out say that team deathmatch is the way to go here. Here at my field, many sections are perfect for attack and defend games, while other sections, like our CQB city map, is strictly for single elimination deathmatch games. I believe it's when complicated game modes get introduced into parts of the field where they don't belong is when things start to suck. The problem is, every Airsoft field is different. For example, I couldn't fathom the idea of a capture the flag game happening at my home field. Yikes. I can just picture it now, someone running really fast and ending the game in 5 minutes or less. However, another field elsewhere in the world might have the perfect layout for capture the flag. Maybe that's the main game mode they play and it works perfectly. If you had to ask me personally how I feel about all of this, I'll tell you that the most joy I get from Airsoft, and I mean raw joy, nothing community or bigger picture related, is from getting kills. Slinging BBs towards my enemies and just being happy with the little airsoft gun I've put my heart, soul, and personality into. Again, personally, if I went to the field one day and got 0 kills, but won all of my games because we held some hill, captured some flag, or escorted some VIP from A to B, I wouldn't be having as much fun. Airsoft is, by all means, a team effort. Teamwork should be fun, but if game modes are taking away from the shooty part of Airsoft, I personally feel like that's not a complementary feature. I could try and explain it in other words too if you like. Airsoft is kind of like 25% LARP, let's say, which I think is kind of reasonable. It's just the right amount. If a complicated game mode creates an imbalance and makes things feel more like 50% LARP, I don't think players would appreciate less gunplay for the sake of better atmosphere or extended realism so that a game mode can exist. However, most milsims do exist for this exact sort of thing. Of course, milsims are different and people should know what they're getting into when it comes to milsims. You could be escorting a VIP for 3 days straight without any action. but you do know exactly what you signed up for. So you find fun in other kinds of things, unique things tied to the milsim. I think what I'm trying to say is that if your field can promote gunplay with an objective-based game mode, that's a good thing. If it can help create a hot zone for combat, that's a positive. Otherwise, in my opinion, complicated, objective-based game modes just don't have a place during ordinary airsoft games. At the end of the day, most people show up to shoot their favorite airsoft gun. A fun, unique map layout with respawns or quick rounds of deathmatch is most likely the quick fix airsofters are looking for. I also want to reiterate map layout when it comes to simple elimination games. When the objective is simply to eliminate enemy players, you could run into problems, such as spawn camping. If that is something impossible to avoid, something like a simple King of the Hill game mode could help alleviate spawn camping. So, we're here at the end of my ramble. Objective-based game modes are important and can actually help balance or complement an airsoft field's geography, promoting gunplay. But when an objective-based game mode does the opposite, I personally feel like it ruins it for me. Thankfully, as it stands, here at my field, things are status quo. We have our simple game modes, nothing adventurous that takes away from the gunplay. People seem content. So, I'm wondering what you guys feel about all of this. Do you feel the same way as I do, or do you play airsoft not for the kills, but strictly for the objective? Tell me about your field and what they do right, or maybe what they do completely wrong when it comes to objective-based game modes. In fact, maybe just let me know what your ideal game mode is. Alrighty, that's really all I wanted to talk about this time, guys. And remember, the team that wins is the one that rushes B.